Sausage.
Hello everyone, this is Attack the Backlog, the podcast where I, Marc tries to make a dent in their backlog one game at a time. This episode is all about River City Girls, a beat-em-up that's a spin-off of the Kunio-kun franchise, aka River City Ransom and the like, where you play as badass women instead of badass men, fighting your way through the streets of River City in search for your kidnapped boyfriends. River City Girls originally came out on September 5th, 2019 for PC, PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. Fun fact, my mother's birthday is September 5th, and she may not like me saying this, and it may come as a surprise, she came out of her mom's vagina quite a few years prior to 2019. Shocking, I know. So, River City Girls starts off incredibly well with a rocking song that transitions to rocking menu music, and it's hard not to get excited about what's in store for you. I was already excited to play River City Girls, but when I first booted the game up and heard that title song, lyrics included, I was like, hell yeah! I'm ready to kick some ass while delivering this task and rescuing my mans. Yeah! So it came as a surprise when I started playing and almost immediately wasn't feeling the combat. I had only started the game, of course, so it wouldn't be right to judge it so quickly, but there was just something off and I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. And that continued through my first hour with the game. I just wasn't having any fun, and it was because the combat felt so shallow, and that's because it is at first, but it doesn't take too long for the combat to improve as you unlock new moves from the dojo using all the money you collect from beating down fellow students and thugs of all sorts. Once I did this, things started turning around. I was stringing together combos, throwing in special moves for extra damage, and having a not too bad time with the game. I wasn't in love with the game, but I thought I got over the hump and it would be nothing but green pastures until credits rolled. Then Hibari happened. It's rare for a single moment in a game to taint the whole experience, but that's exactly what Hibari did for me. Hibari is one of the bosses you face on your journey to save your boyfriends, and she is one hell of a cheap pain in the ass. And it sucks because the last two bosses are pushovers. You'd think bosses would get more and more challenging as you progress, but the challenge peaks in the middle of River City Girls with the aforementioned Hibari. Why is Hibari so bad? You must be exaggerating, right? Or maybe you just need to get good. I'm sure most of you are asking the former, and some are saying the latter. To those asking the former, I'll tell you in a second. To those saying the latter, shut up. I just can't even with you right now, okay? So just shut your little mouth. So Hibari. Hibari is a fashion designer with the ability to fly, the ability to shoot out a few different projectiles, and the ability to summon female students and drones that explode when they get near. The students don't explode, just the drones. On paper, she doesn't seem horrible, and if one thing was changed, she wouldn't be horrible, but what ruins her and turns her into a cheap, bullshitty boss is the fact that her bullet hell-like projectiles chain together when they hit you. You don't get hit by one, fall to the ground, and get a second of iframes to recover. Instead, if you get hit by a train of bullets, the first one hits you, then the second, then the third, and so on, lifting you higher and higher into the air while doing more and more damage as it happens. On top of that, Hibari sometimes shoots out her exceptionally large sewing needle at you, and if you get hit by her bullets while this happens, there's a good chance they can propel you into the path of her needle, and if that happens, it's almost certain death, even if you are at full health. That is bullshit. The fact that her bullets can create this chain effect with no way of recovery, potentially leading to instant death from full health, is bad design. And the thing is, every other boss is pretty manageable. A Bobo can be a bit of a pain, but he just takes patience, and the final boss, Sabuko, is incredibly easy and anticlimactic, and Noise, the boss just prior to the final boss, is probably the easiest boss in the game, so it's weird to not only have this shitty boss in the game when every other boss is fine, but to have her smack dab in the middle of it just seems so out of place. If she was the final boss, maybe I wouldn't have gotten so annoyed by her, but she isn't, so annoyed I was and still am just thinking about her. And I know I shouldn't let one bad boss ruin the experience for me, but some things can't be helped, and it wasn't like I was having an amazing time and then started hating the game. I was having a fine time with the game once the combat opened up, but after dealing with Hibari, the rest of my playthrough was soured. I already didn't care about the story, but after Hibari, I started actively skipping every cutscene because I just wanted to get the game over with. And get the game over with I did, and it was a breeze. Like I said, outside of Boba, who did frustrate me a bit, probably because I fought him soon after dealing with Hibari during the same session, I didn't have a problem with the difficulty. But such is life. I have no control over how I'll react to a single moment, but I do know that if I loved the rest of the game, I wouldn't have let Hibari poison the rest of my experience. I do still love certain aspects of the game. The art and animation are fantastic. There's so much going on in the background that brings the world to life, and it's full of bright colors that make me want to love the game. And the music, not just the opening song, is really good. Every time I entered the mall, I got excited because I knew what song I was going to hear and I wanted to hear it, and that holds true for almost every environment in the game. And every time I launched the game and heard that opening song, I got excited for a moment before remembering I didn't like playing the game. I wish I felt differently, and I expected to feel differently. I was so sure I was going to love this game and am beyond surprised to find that not only do I not love the game, I don't even like it. Maybe I would have enjoyed my time had I played it with a friend, but let's be honest, who would want to be friends with someone who has such bad opinions like me, right? If it was online co-op, that would be different, but the co-op is local only, and that's too bad because not everyone has easy access to a local buddy, and if I tried playing it with my dad, he'd quit almost immediately. River City Girls is a solid game with an incredibly annoying middle fight that may or may not bother you as much as it bothered me. It's like following a trail of cookies up a hill that gradually get better, leading to a giant chocolate chip cookie at the top of the hill, only instead of chocolate, the chips are made out of shit, and the only way to get down from the hill is to eat the entire shitty cookie. Sure, there's another trail of not shitty cookies on the way down, but you're still gonna have the taste of shit in your mouth. That said, if you've been interested in the game, I still think it's worth checking out, and maybe if you go in knowing about the pain in the ass that is Hibari, you'll be able to cushion your buttocks and lessen the impact of her nonsense, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll love the game I wish I loved, and nothing would make me happier than that. Anyway, that will do it for this here episode of Attack the Backlog. Once again, I am your host, Marc. Y'all can find me on Twitter and pretty much everywhere at PXSausage. This site is, of course, pixelatedsausage.com, where you can find this podcast and the Pixelated Sausage podcast, both of which are available on podcast platforms across the globe, like Stitcher Radio, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Pandora. If you'd like to check out the art I make, you can go over to pxsart.com. If you see something you like, click the link and it'll take you to where you can purchase a print of the piece you fancy. And if you fancy the site in general and anything that we do, please go over to patreon.com/pxs and support us that way. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoy this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.